How did proving your concept for this go? You would think that the fact that there's, I don't know, some 900 million people in the world who menstruate would be a pretty good starting pitch and conversation around, the need for this product. But I can imagine it wasn't as simple as that.
Yeah, so I didn't bother at the start. We used money from our mortgage to to put into the business. I just didn't even bother about the investment route. So that was fine. And then not long into, a couple of years in, then found an angel investor who was a friend of the family member. So, went out to everybody I knew and pitched it that way. So by that stage, I had some numbers that looked good. It was still a risk for them, but the numbers were already looking good. So then after that, a few years in, obviously I took Quadrant on board. So I went through a Springboard Accelerator program, which was really, really helpful for me to understand what the potential was for my business. It was very much a female-friendly environment, and I just learnt so much from that about, what am I doing here? What am I creating? Am I just creating this small brand, or am I going big? And I went, I'm going big. And with that, I realized that to go big, I needed to, restructure some of my business, which I did. And then I needed to bring on an external investor. When it came to the time to look for those private equity, I first started with some high net worth, but I didn't feel that was right. So then I looked for private equity. Yeah, I actually ended up having by my side an advisory group who were all female. So I went to Deloitte and they had a whole female team. So that helped because they would do that initial, pitch of Modibodi. And by the time I got in the room with those male investors, I think they were more comfortable with the topics that we were going to be discussing. But, in all truth, they wouldn't have entered the room if they didn't see the opportunity. And, they're smart enough to know by that stage that what we were providing to women and what society wanted was a better performing product and also a more sustainable product. So, yeah, it wasn't such a hard conversation for me to have with men. But as I said, from the very beginning, I've been okay about it, man or woman, I don't care. It's your problem, not mine.
Oh, totally. And, I think this is, you've probably come across this a bit, but, what role do men have to play in this overall movement? I hope that there aren't people and listeners that have been put off by this particular episode just because of the topic. There's so much to be learnt from what it means to take an amazing idea that solves a problem for people, but also the planet, and make that work. I'd like to hope that we haven't put off any listeners, but how do you think about that?
Well, men have to champion this area, and I've had a male advisor who did actually. So I've had very strong female advisors, but also one of the best champions very early on was a man. He saw the potential from the very beginning. He knew the social impact. He knew what this could be, and we need more of them. And my private equity investor now, they're mainly men on our board. Apart from my non-executive director, she's a female. And again, they are championing this conversation, and they've got daughters, sisters, mums. They need to be very comfortable. So they should be listening to this conversation. I can't just be speaking to women, and we can't just have women in the room when we're talking about how to get more funds for women to get, female or FemTech products and all these women's health products funded. There needs to be men in the room. Otherwise, we will not see change. I mean, one of the things we struggle with at Modibodi is getting men to come and work for us, because our recruiters have the conversation and go, oh, periods, incontinence, shut down. And it's like, why? Why do you feel so uncomfortable? If you've got a partner and you're seeing that, I
Get
don't
over
understand.
it. I can see you want to say it, don't you? Get over it.
Just get over it. And I think when you have those one-on-one with men, they do, but we just need more of them. That's how I do feel right now. I want more male champions and more men coming to work for Modibodi.